Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we'll take a look at some new Am I the A-hole stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
Fist 1 posted by user puzzleheaded_hold660. Titled, AITA for stopping my assistance because she wouldn't let me into her house? My wife and I have been friends with Cheryl for several years. Cheryl has hit a rough spot with the pandemic, so we've been helping her. This includes money, essentials like laundry pods, dishwasher pucks, food, and hand-me-down clothing from my wife. Cheryl is my wife's friend before my friend. I've never hung out with her alone. I deliver all these goods to her usually weekly as neither my wife nor Cheryl drive. I don't mind, even if it's 20 minutes out of my way each way. 3 days ago I had to use the washroom while driving over, so when I dropped off about $150 worth of stuff for her, I asked if I could run inside and use the washroom. She hesitated, gave me a concerned look, and said no. It was encroaching on emergency for me, so I asked again and she said no, so I just left. Wasn't going to stand to talk about it when I could be on the road to Tim Hortons or whatever to use the washroom. I asked my wife when I got home to talk to her, and Cheryl said she doesn't trust me and didn't want stranger men into her home. I thought maybe her house was a mess or something, but I was reassured it was not that, and it was that Cheryl sees me as dangerous, I guess. I sent a message to Cheryl thanking her for being candid with my wife, but because of this, we'll no longer be helping her. Or at least I want no part in it. If you can't trust the person who has given you $5,000 in cash this year and maybe another $5,000 in amenities, it's a one-sided relationship. I just needed to pee. She's more than welcome to come to us and my wife will help her, but I know this won't happen since I'm the only one who drives here. I won't budge on this because you don't recover from "I think you're a dangerous man" in no way, shape, or form. Was I the a-hole? My wife thinks so slightly, but since she's still welcome to help, just it takes like 100x more effort on her part, she thinks it's fair. She's also upset, just doesn't think my solution is a solution. User comment, it's good op decided not to help anymore. Not cause of pettiness and anger. But one misunderstanding and his social life could be ruined considering she sees him as dangerous. He's anyway letting his wife help. I wouldn't want to help someone I'd have to walk on eggshells for anyway. Not the a-hole op, you good. User comment, not the a-hole. What the hell? You are giving her a ridiculous amount of help and going way out of your way to do it. She really could have taken the risk just because she owes you. You don't owe her your services anyway, so I see no reason you should bother anymore. User comment, not the a-hole. You give her stuff weekly and she can't even extend the courtesy of her restroom. I wouldn't want my spouse assisting her after that. Next one posted by user conscious_egg924. Titled, AITA for wanting my house back. My 29 female sister's soon-to-be ex-husband 28 male moved in with us 5 months ago because my sister left him for another man and he had nowhere else to go. He gets the kids every weekend and they don't bother me. They are my nephews, but while they are here my bill does absolutely nothing for them. He literally stays in his room or on the couch all weekend and I feed them, watch them and clean up after them. We had also let him use one of our cars as his truck was not working and he used it for free for about 8 months, then left it on the street without paying for the new tags on it. He paid rent maybe 3 months then just stopped. He goes out all the time with his family and friends but can't pay rent or food here. My husband is fed up with it and wants to throw him out, and quite frankly I do too. We have our own 3 kids and if we so much as go out on the weekend without taking my nephews, my sister calls me and tells me I am a witch for not toting her kids along as well. AITA for throwing Bill out. His sister now has space for him but she is 45 minutes away and it would be a huge inconvenience for my sister with their custody agreement. Even my mum is calling me saying I should keep him there because at least we know for a fact the boys are safe. But when did that all become my responsibility? My family, mum and sister, keep making it about the kids when it's clearly never been about them. I'm just tired of having a lazy person live rent-free in my basement. User comment, not the a-hole. In fact, if you let this continue, you are just enabling him. Your sister and mum are jerks for putting such expectations on you. You didn't marry him, leave him, or produce these kids. Bill and your sister need to grow up. User comment, yeah, sounds like you found the reason why your sister divorced him. Not the a-hole. User comment, not that OP's sister sounds like a peach herself either. But agree. Pretty clear why she left him for another man. User comment, not the a-hole. If your sister wants to keep her children, she can, you did right. Bill is a jerk for not paying you, instead complaining through your sister. User comment, not the a-hole. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Better your sister is slightly inconvenienced having to drop her children 45 minutes away than you be inconvenienced every day. Next one posted by user, Botanical Brunch Skunk. Titled, AITA for buying 500 pounds of meat that was on sale? I have 4 large breed working dogs, 1 small rescue dog, and a few cats. 2 of the dogs are actively working their jobs. 1 is a pup. 2 are retired and living out their golden years. I prepare them a homemade diet. I go through 250 to 300 pounds of meat for their food every month. Recently, a local grocery store chain had a sale on chicken for 39 cents a pound. They were sold in 10 pounds packages. So I rearranged everything and cleared out one of our deep freezers, hit every store in our area and bought 6 to 8 packs at each store. Never taking more than a 1/4 to 1/3 load of the stock they had out on the shelves. None of the stores advertised purchased limits. None of the cashiers said anything negative about the amount I purchased, just small talk about what I was planning to do with it. Hubby went to the garage to grab something out of the freezer, opened the wrong one and boom, was face to face with a wall of chicken. He laughed. Snapped a pic with his phone, went to the other freezer, found what he wanted, then he posted the pic to Facebook with a caption about "This is what happens when you marry a crazy dog lady and chicken is on sale." Well, my in-laws saw the pic and have become quite upset about it. My mother-in-law has spread the picture and commented about how disappointed she is, and she thought she raised her son better than to take away food from people to feed it to dogs. I can see how I might be the a-hole because I know lots of people are struggling with putting food on their tables right now, but I was conscious of not buying out a store's entire stock, and my own household is making significantly less this year than previous years, so the $150 I saved is going to help us out. User comment, not the a-hole. You made sure not to clear out an entire store and your dogs need to eat too. Mill must just not be a fan of dogs or understand their diet. User comment, I have 8 cats, if I could get them to eat a natural diet, I would save money and stress. Not the a-hole. User comment, I'm guessing the idea was that Op snatched it all up before poor people had a chance to stock up. Still not the a-hole, because they didn't actually buy all of it or even close. Next one posted by user, AITA son name. Titled, AITA for refusing to name my son after his dead father and telling my mill if she refuses to respect my wishes then I won't let her see him without supervision? Basically the title. I'm currently 8 months pregnant. My husband died from COVID about a month ago and I've been absolutely ragged since, and this is kinda my breaking point. Prior to my husband's, Mike's, death we had agreed on Tom Alexander Jones, all names are fake obviously, as our son's name. Tom we decided on together, Alexander after my husband's grandfather, and Jones is my last name. My husband took my last name after marriage by choice as he didn't have the best upbringing and was limited contact with his parents. After he died I made the decision to add Michael to our son's name, so it is Tom Michael Alexander Jones. This has been a problem with my mill, who is insisting his first name should be Mike. I have refused for several reasons. 1. The real Mike name is extremely common. 2. It has an unfortunate nickname that got my husband bullied at school. 3. I don't want to feel sad every time I say my son's name. My mill has flipped her crap over this. Despite my saying no, she has proceeded to get a brass nameplate for his crib, multiple blankets and on sides, and the letter hanging name all with Michael instead of Tom. This came to a head last weekend when she bought over more Michael blankets and I was having phantom contractions. She told me to toughen up and then said that even if I give my son the first name Tom, she will call him Mike in private. Honestly, I was a bit the a-hole. I was in pain and hadn't slept properly in days. I snapped and told her to get out of my house and that if she was going to call my son Mike in private then I wouldn't allow her to visit him or be around him without supervision. She's now hysterically calling everyone in the family accusing me of being a witch who won't let her see her only grandbaby. She actually has a couple of adopted grandchildren from my sil, but they don't count as real grandkids to her. I feel like trash. Maybe I should change the name just to keep the peace. Am I just being a hormonal witch? AITA here? User comment, not the a-hole. I think you found out why your husband had limited contact with his parents. Your mill is controlling to a whole new level of crazy. Be very careful if you choose to bring your child near this woman, and think very carefully if you are considering leaving your child in her care. Your child, your name. Don't listen to this woman, pick the name that feels right to you. User comment, not the a-hole. I agree completely with the comment above. This is one of the visible reasons that man cut contact with that toxic family. Sorry for your loss, op. If that mother-in-law cannot accept your choice of name, and constantly tried to push it on you to change it, no contact. Period, no exceptions. Don't even tell her when the kid is born. From how you word her, this sounds like the type of crazy wackadoodle to try and change the birth certificate name if she shows up to the hospital. User comment, no. This is not how grandparents' rights works. The kid isn't even born, so he has zero relationship with the grandparents. The grandmother would have zero legal standing. User comment, not the a-hole. Change any locks she might have a key to and make sure everyone around her knows she is not to have access to a key. Next one posted by user, Coney Marks. Titled, AITA for getting angry when a family secret was downplayed in front of my kids? I might be overreacting because I really don't like my in-laws, but I don't know. My husband and his brother have a set of older half-siblings who are the same age as their mum. His half-brother and his mum fight over everything. Neither of them takes it that seriously, so I think it's more sarcasm, but it gets seriously annoying. Also, I try to teach my kids not to name call, and then the two of them go at it right in front of them. Yesterday we went to their house and Mill and Bill were doing it again. My 8-year-old asked why they hate each other and Mill just said they don't, but Bill has to add that they used to date and it ended badly. My 13-year-old was super freaked out. I tried to change the subject, but Mill told her that is how she met Phil, and then Phil interjected that Bill was broke and she needed a real man. They just laughed, but I could tell my daughter was very uncomfortable, and I think it's gross that he brags about taking his son's girlfriend like that. I've heard him joke about it before, combined with what a shitty dad he was to his own kids, it just really grossed me out. I yelled at them that they are disgusting and they aren't doing a much better job as grandparents than they did as parents. I demanded that we leave and my husband got mad at me for overreacting. I think I told them they were gross once more, and I woke up to a text from Mill about how every family issue we have involves me overreacting, and don't I see the pattern? User comment, not the a-hole. This family sounds toxic, the less you can be around then the better. User comment, not the a-hole. I think some of the hardest relationships are the ones with people who we don't choose, in-laws, and when people have different boundaries. Op came from a family with different boundaries than this one. Everyone is justified in how they feel, the hard part is finding a mode of existence that makes everybody comfortable. User comment, you're the a-hole. Your reaction probably will make your kid's reaction even worse. Why is your kid freaked out about that exactly? I think that's odd. Most kids at that age are usually more resilient to odd configurations of family. Also, YTA for trying to control the information your daughter seeks out on her own about the family. It's one thing if it's like information about drugs or something inappropriate. But it's dating, really? At that age she's probably been exposed to that kind of dynamic. Also, YTA for trying to decide how someone else can tell their own story. It's not yours to tell. You don't get to go into someone else's house and tell them how they can tell their own story. Now here's the deal. You do have every right to feel the way you do about them. Absolutely, that is so valid. But you can only control so much. If you don't want your kids to be around them, you need to actually bring that up with your husband, instead of constantly putting them in the line of fire. Also, to blow up and call people gross. That is overreacting. Even if they are. There are ways to go about it. You are just perpetuating drama. Next one posted by user, tiny_ad_1. Titled, AITA for almost leaving my sister at home during an emergency. So where I live we are in the spring season, but we get summer temperatures, which leads to some horrible out-of-control fires. I'm still living at home with my parents because of some mental issues. I have 6 younger siblings, 2 who are over the age of 18 and should be learning how to stop acting like our parents have to still do everything for them. My 4 other siblings homeschool while I work part-time from home. My mum and dad also work full-time, so they are gone all day. Yesterday I got an evacuation alert on my phone, out of control bushfire, so I told everyone to go get their emergency bags and meet out by the car. I had go around the house and lock everything while turning off the power as well. I came upstairs when I was done and my 21-year-old sister hadn't moved and was playing around on her phone. I told her to hurry up, and she said okay. I walked away to check on my younger siblings, and then went to get my stuff, telling her again to get up and get her stuff. By the time I got back outside she was still in-house on her phone. I just simply told the kids to get in the car, while my 19-year-old brother took his own car. By the time I got to start the car to take off she came screaming out of house of how I didn't wait for her. She started calling me every single name she could think of. I told her I couldn't wait and she should have listened. This was a no waiting during this emergency, and yet she expected everyone to wait for her. So AITA for almost leaving her at home during an emergency? User comment, not the a-hole. The lives of your younger siblings should not have been put at risk by one selfish, okay maybe just dumb or immature, sibling. Should 7 of you have risked death because number 8 just had to finish watching that video? No. User comment, not the a-hole. She's old enough to understand that it's an emergency. If she wants to be dumb, she can be dumb by the fire. User comment, not the a-hole. You had 5 other lives in your hands, and she couldn't get off the phone. At 21, she should damn well know better. User comment, not the a-hole, and please talk to your parents who needs to severely talk to her. When they do an evacuation notice, you cannot wait around. Frankly you put your siblings' lives in danger and no one wants them to learn it's okay to delay. Next one posted by user, Throwaya HSJDJDM. Titled, AITA for getting my coworker reprimanded because I told my boyfriend what she said? I, 25, am a first-year associate at a law firm. My boyfriend is a partner, so we work together a lot and he is often calling the shots with my coworkers as well. Early last week, after a long day at the office, only some associates were still in the office that late on that particular night. An associate had brought alcohol for what we presumed would be the long haul, and we finally cracked it open to celebrate being done with our work in our respective cases. One coworker of mine, 27 female, gets a little too drunk and starts saying how she was working under John, who is my boyfriend, and that she just really hates him right now. She starts babbling about she feels micromanaged and says she wouldn't have to keep cancelling plans with family to work so late if not for all these revisions. Later in the week I was staying over at my boyfriend's house and I asked how his project was going. He said that it was okay. I felt bad about listening to my coworker talk badly about him, so I told him that there were some things I overheard. I asked if I should tell him and he said, no, tell me. So I told him about her saying she hated him and that she hated to be there when she keeps on having to cancel plans. I also told him that she kind of mocked his managerial skills and pretty much implied that she would have done it better. My boyfriend thanked me for telling him and asked who else was there. So I told him. The coworker confronted me on Friday saying she got a formal written reprimand and she was pretty sure it was me who ratted her out. And that she didn't need to be grilled on, do you want to be here, if not we can find someone else to take over the remaining work, when she was stressed. She then started lecturing me about how this was all supposed to be shop talk and everybody venting about their frustrations and what I did was out of line. She also claims what I told were straight up lies. I didn't really respond except to say I was sorry to hear about the reprimand. AITA? My boyfriend obviously wanted to know, so I told him. User comment, you're the a-hole. When you have a romantic relationship with anyone in management, it is your job to make sure that your personal and professional lives are as separate as possible. You basically engaged in office gossip and snitched on a coworker to her boss just because you have a good relationship with him outside of work. That doesn't seem fair to your coworker, who now will feel like she has to avoid making benign work comments because you're essentially a narc. User comment, you're the a-hole. Your boyfriend wanted to know because you brought it up. You've established yourself as slimy and untrustworthy to your peers. Congratulations. Not a great look for a first-year associate. User comment, you're the a-hole. 100%. Also, go find another job. You have no idea the damage you are doing to your reputation by sleeping with a partner at your law firm. If you are going to continue, get a job elsewhere. Last one posted by user Clementine Grace. Titled, AITA, a Karen for reporting a rude bartender to her manager? I, 21 female, need to know if I'm in the wrong or not. My friends and I were at a casual restaurant per bar and there were a lot of people there, all at tables and masked up if they got up, so the restroom line was very long. My friend and I waited in the line for, I kid you not, 30 minutes before finally going in. It's a one-room bathroom with one toilet, no stalls, etc. Just a room with a toilet and sink. Anyway, we both went in, yes, girls pee together sometimes haha, especially when drinking, and were in there for probably exactly a minute before we hear banging on the door. I had just gotten undressed to pee and, since it was crowded outside because of the line, there were at least 10 girls and 10 men outside the door waiting in separate lines for the bathroom. And then we hear someone say, "Open the ducking door right now." Those exact words, followed with more banging, which eventually turned into someone yanking the door so hard that my friend had to yank it shut or else it would have opened in front of everyone outside in the restaurant and I was undressed. So I got dressed as fast as I could, did not even pee, because I was afraid my friend wouldn't be able to hold the door closed any longer and I would be exposed to 20 people, 10 of them being men. We opened the door and said we had literally only been in there for 1 minute and to wait, but it was a female bartender, who I had tipped earlier, which I now regret, and she said, "I work here, I get to pee first, get out. You can pee after me." She went into the bathroom and slammed the door shut. And my friend and I turned to the girls standing in line outside and we were like, what the hell? And a girl went, "She works here, she has to deal with my drunk butt, she can do whatever she wants. Deal with it." And I got mad and started to say that I was a customer and no? You can't kick customers out of the restroom. And the girl said, "Okay, bye customer," and my friend and I just left to go to the bathroom on the other side of the restaurant. My question is, am I crazy for thinking that what the bartender did was wrong? My friend and our friends back at the table thought so, but the girls in line said we were being disrespectful to her because she worked there. We did not say a single word to that bartender other than, "Can you please wait a second?" The bartender fully tried to rip open the door, and would have succeeded in opening it if not for my friend holding it shut while I was exposed with my underwear literally around my ankles, in front of multiple people. And she also cussed at us when she said, "Open the ducking door." We went to the manager after we ate and told him about it and pointed her out. Am I in a hole, a Karen for doing this? Or is the bartender in the wrong? User comment, not the a-hole at all. If I were the manager, I would be happy if you reported this. Nobody should act like this. User comment, not the a-hole. The bartender's behavior was completely inappropriate and I hope that she was punished for it. User comment, a big not the a-hole. She needs to calm her tits and wait. If I had the worst UTI in the world, or a period or anything like that, I wouldn't haul 2 women out of a stall. That is beyond inappropriate. User comment, it's obviously not the a-hole. Ripping the door open while you were inside was incredibly rude and the bartender shouldn't do that even if you would have used the staff toilet. Thanks for listening.